Cardano as the supporting network for AI. Well, there is one project. It's called Singularity Net. A lot of people thinking about it. Thoughts on Andrew Tate? Occasionally I get asked questions about various very controversial people like Jordan Peterson or Andrew Tate, or Joe Rogan or Sam Harris or what have you. And they represent different parts of the political spectrum and the philosophical spectrum. So Andrew is this guy. Apparently, he's quite popular in certain alt-right circles, and he's part of that red pill movement, or even black pill. And he basically has taken a very misogynistic view of the universe, where his belief is that everything has been constructed in a way where men are now persecuted and they have to kind of take their primal power back. And he says a lot of profoundly distasteful things. I've never viewed men and women in an adversarial sense. I think they're complementary. And this whole push of equality is kind of missing the point. When you have complementary things, you put them together, they fit together, and they're partners, and they work together. And there's equality under the law, and then there's a celebration of differences and diversity. And everything in my life where things have worked well, it's worked well because there's diversity and resilience in that system. Just like with Cardano, there are 3 million people. It'd get pretty boring if all of them were people from Wyoming or people from Florida or people from California. There's nothing wrong with people from those places, but you want to sample from everywhere, because when you do that, you learn things that you've never seen before. And the most significant part of that is the gender differences that exist and the cultural differences there. People like Tate seem to have renounced all of that and are very bitter that the world is moving in a particular direction. And I can understand the bitterness. The woke cult has certainly caused a lot of problems. It was Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Now it's not, and everything does seem to be moving in a way that is deeply uncomfortable if it's not moving in your favor. But that's not an excuse to be an asshole. It's not an excuse to make people feel belittled or attack people or to say rude or mean things. And also, there's no ethic that grows people up. At least with people like Jordan Peterson, the advice is fundamentally sound. Make your bed, internal fortitude, stoicism. These are not alt-right racist concepts, and the people who tell you that fundamentally misunderstand them. These are concepts that build inner resilience and character and give you the ability to withstand adversity and grow from that adversity and become greater than what you were yesterday. So there's a life ethic there, and there's nothing wrong with life ethics that give you stoicism, that give you the ability to be stronger and better. There's also this concept of having self-integrity and honoring your obligations. You make promises and commitments, you give people your word, you follow that. So that's a perfectly legitimate system, and it's not exclusive, and it doesn't harm people. I fully appreciate that certain groups of people feel that such people are evil or destructive or damaging. And when you really listen to the arguments and language, they're not actually talking to each other. They're talking past each other and operating on different wavelengths. It is a perfectly legitimate thing to say that it is exceedingly damaging and dangerous to society to abandon the concept of inclusive accountability, your ability to self-verify the statements that people are making, and completely rely upon a bureaucracy for truth. That was the basis of the Soviet Union. They basically said, we tell you it's Tuesday, but it's Wednesday. It's Tuesday now. And you go to the gulag if they don't listen to you. That's unfortunately where we're at with a lot of language games, where definitions change on the fly, things that we grew up with that we thought were objectively true and we could verify through scientific processes now are just basically decided by a bureau. And in some cases, it's criminalized. And it reminds us the 4 stages of societal capture. You have indoctrination, institutionalization, criminalization, which is where we're at in a lot of cases, and then finally gulagging, where you purge the undesirable elements of society. It's what the communists did. And given that they killed 50 plus million people in the 20th century, it's not optional. We have to be vigilant against such people. So that's one side of it. And the other side of it is that people want to be treated with respect and dignity, and they want people to celebrate and cherish their self-selected identities. There's probably some way to meet in the middle, and it requires a little bit of give and compromise on both sides, not totalitarianism. There is no compromise in Andrew Tate. And unfortunately, there's very little compromise in Jordan Peterson, for better or for worse. And so a person's valuable if you can extract something from what they're saying, and it is something you can integrate into yourself and find a productive outcome. I see that with people like Peterson. I don't see that with people like Tate.